Hello guys, it's me Lunar. Welcome back to another Playerunknown's video. Recently my most viewed video has been my top 5 high risk loot locations, so I wanted to expand on that, and I noticed there isn't too much content on YouTube already about going in depth on loot. So I'm going to make some top 5, some tip videos, and some I'm looking forward to, going over the best loot routes on various places on the map, based on building efficiency, loot spawns inside of them, risk, and playstyle. But today I thought I would start on something that is at the very core of looting, and something that is not covered very much, and that is simply what are the best houses to loot in the game. Now, loot in Battlegrounds is determined by RNG, or random number generation. Each spawn point has a certain chance of getting any item, therefore the more spawn points a building has, the better the chances of higher loot. We already know the school or the mansions, for example, are big and have loads of spawn points inside, but what about basic houses? Here then are 5 great houses to look out for when landing in almost any area, and there are at least 60 unique houses in the game, so looting the right one is very important. Number 5, the small double balcony building. Now the houses don't have official names that I know of, so I describe them just based on what they look like, but you can see what they are in the images or on the video. This building is one of the most common in game, and there are over 100 in the Erangel map, and are found commonly, especially in the Pachinki area. I decided to loot the 4 or so that is in Yasnaya, just to see what I would find. The house itself has 11 different spawn points. Not all of them have items at them, but they can have up to 11, and in the first house I already have a Scar L, which is a good start. After the 4th house I have an AKM, a 4 scope for my Scar, level 2 armor, level 2 backpack, and some decent healing. Overall I have 2 weapons I can easily take to the end game, decent gear overall as well. I will still need to do some looting after this for more ammo and health, but from just 4 houses that's a great haul, and remember that when looting you don't only go to 4 houses, I could easily fit in many other buildings on a good loot route that included all 4 of these in them. Next up we have these double story houses with a small balcony, and you can recognize it by the small balcony on the 2nd floor above the main door. This one has 20 spawn locations inside of it. It's probably one of the most for any regular house, so there is a good potential here for some great loot. As you can see from the map, it has loads of them around. One large section in Georgia Paul makes for a great place to loot. I decided to avoid players for the video, and so I travelled to west of the farm and Milta, where there are around 4 of them. After the first house, you can see just how much loot these places have to offer. It didn't have anything good yet, but that's a lot of stuff from just a 1-2 story building that you can loot in less than 30 seconds. After the final house, and I went to 4 of them, it's clear these houses are great for 2 things. Higher level gear, weapon mods, grenades, and healing. Those were in abundance. The issue I had here was trying to find a good gun, but these were okay choices, not my top tier. I probably look for something better for going into the end game, but I was definitely happy with all the items and armor that I had. And of course, every game is different. I could easily have came away with good weapons here had I come back here in the next game. So this is definitely a really great place to look for loot, and it would be impossible to come to one of these buildings and go away with nothing because there are 20 spawn points inside of them. Number 3 is almost the same looking house with this one, but instead it has a large balcony on the 2nd floor, so that's the best way to recognize it. These houses are great for finding medium amounts of loot, with 16 loot spots inside. They don't always offer you amazing stuff as some of the other houses, but does provide you a good opportunity. I decided to go to Primorsk to test this one out. As you can see, this house has tons of locations across the map. Primorsk has plenty, so I went to 4 of them in just a few minutes that I had, and this is what I pulled up. I came away with both a Scar and an M416. 2 great weapons. I didn't get as high gear as I would have hoped, but level 1 armor and helmet, level 2 backpack, grenades, healing, on top of those 2 great guns. Remember, I only went to 4 houses, and I could easily have gone to way more, so this was a great start, and it's well worth checking out these houses first if you decide to go to Primorsk or any other location. Our final 2 houses are actually both great. I really like both of them, and I couldn't really decide between both, so I just decided to go with number 1, which had the most spawn points inside. But our number 2 house is the large shack house. They're mostly located around the middle of the map in Erangel, and in fact there are only a couple in higher loot areas. Gatka has medium RNG, all the others are low risk, but usually have something inside of them anyway. Now this house has up to 10 spawn locations inside, and I decided to travel to 4 different ones. The first time, this was what I found inside. Great loot for just 1 house, I think. Now in this run, I did give up because the 2nd house had a player inside, but then the 2nd time I decided to go on this run, I went through 3 different ones, got a good haul, 2 assault rifles, armor, helmet, backpack, and healing, I then went around again to these houses, and the second time around I went to Gatka just to test it out since it is a medium loot area and there are usually other players here. Here I found a Scar, a UMP9, plenty of mods for them, helmet, armor, backpack, healing, all from just 2 houses, and I definitely find looting these to be well worth your time. You could be in and out very quickly, and with 10 spawn points it very often coughs up a useful stuff. And the great thing about these houses is none of them are really in any high risk areas, so if you're just out in an open field, this is definitely one of the best houses to come across where you can find great loot and not come across many other players. Number 1 is this barn house. It's got a barn link to the top of it, it's the house shaped like this and has an attic, and it's easy to recognize. You will find these buildings spread across the map, loads on the southern edge of the main island, but found everywhere, even on the military island, where I chose to search because there were 3 close to each other. Inside of these houses, there are around 14 different spawn locations. Of course, you'll never have all the locations have items at them, but these houses are often a treasure trove of items, and for some reason I often find a good assault rifle inside of them. After the first 2, I have loads of good stuff, including an AKM and an M416, so like I said, I usually come across some good weapons, and I did on this occasion. But not only that, from the first 2 houses, my M416 is almost fully modded as well, including a suppressor, and after the 3rd house, I have level 2 armor, backpack, a helmet, and some healing. Not bad from 3 houses, with plenty of time left for looting other places on top of that. And if I have an opportunity, this is usually my go-to house first for discovering great loot, no matter where I am on the map. So guys, that is the list of the best houses in the game to look out for when looting. There are a mixture of high spawn points inside of them, one of them has up to 20 spawn points inside, or a great ratio of spawn points and efficiency. The large shack, for example, only has 10 spawn points, but you can be in and out very quickly, and I often find it has good loot inside of it. Remember, in this video I spent a lot of time traveling to these locations, so there were no other players. It means that you can easily loot these houses I mentioned and have loads of time left over for looting other buildings. But they do make a great start point for any loot run, and you should definitely go to one of these houses first if it's in the area over any others. I'll be back again soon, guys, with more loot guides and top 5s. I want to cover some other types of buildings in the top 5s, but I really want to start a loot route series, planning some great loot routes in all the game's locations, making sure whenever you're in any area, you maximize loot spawns in the 5-minute period that you have, simply to maximize the amount of loot that you can find. And I think this works especially well for really high risk areas, or areas where there are buildings that you would expect to be full of loot, but there are actually much better options that you wouldn't think of. So hopefully you guys look forward to that. Anyway, as always, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Be sure to leave a like below, guys. The support is greatly appreciated on the channel, so that would be really awesome. Subscribe if you're new around for similar videos to this one, and I will catch you guys next time with a brand new video.